All right, family. Good night. Welcome to another edition of Just Reasoning Live. We have a few guests with us tonight. The class up the joint, as always. What you pointing on, Tex? What I go on back there?
I just put y'all on the screen back there.
Oh, okay. What can I say? But apparently, we're on TV tonight, live on CNN.
Technology.
We took last week off of Thanksgiving and everything. How was Thanksgiving, everyone? Had a good time?
Belly full.
Yeah.
Belly full. And you're not even invite me, special.
Belly full. Me not share with long on.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna leave that alone. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have a range of topics to talk about as usual. Welcome to this edition of Just Reasoning. We talk all kinds of things on here. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, sports, music, news, politics, whatever's going on. We're reasoning about it. Real talk on real issues. That's what we do here. So, we need to do something besides having Jamaicans on this program. Every week, a beer Jamaican on here. We need to have include somebody else at some point. But tonight we have all Jamaicans. So our first topic is about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris and Jamaica. What I say, it's complicated. So Kamala Harris, as we all know, recently elected the vice president-elect of the United States. Why do I say it's complicated? Well, I would say it's complicated from the standpoint of her background. As we know, she is, her mother is Indian, her father is Jamaican. They met as immigrants in California. Her mother passed away, I'm not sure how long ago. And when she's talking about her background, certainly as of late, like when she gave her introduction, when she was just introduced as the nominee, and she gave a speech talking about her background, she talked about her Indian mother. She talked about all that, but her father never came up. Hey, things happen. So her parents got divorced when she was 5 years old. And then her mother had primary custody of her. And so her mother is the one who kind of raised her. But things happen in families, what happens. I've seen a recent picture of her, well, certainly as an adult, her sister and the father together. So they've had, at least within the past 15, 20 years, had some sort of relationship. But, it's, and so there's been a lot of, I've seen like in the media, in the Jamaican media, people saying like, oh, she doesn't really like talk about Jamaica and claim Jamaica. And I would say it is, I remember sitting there watching when she was introduced as a vice presidential candidate, and she gave her background, her biography, and she talked about her mother came in from India, and not a single mention of Jamaica. If you and daddy drop out, cool. But it's just like, I just wanted to hear some reference, because I know she spent a good amount of time in Jamaica when she was young, because her cousins in Jamaica talk about it, how she used to come there and run up and down in country like everybody else. So it's just like you kind of wanted to hear that. But whatever happens at the family happens. The only time I've heard her father referenced, and so her father's alive. Her mother's passed away. I think her father still lives in the United States. While she was the presidential candidate, she did an interview on the Breakfast Club, and they were asking about Ganja legalization, saying she used to burn weed in college and whatever. And so she's for legalization. And then she said, being from Jamaica and all, right? It's on the Breakfast Club, so it's kind of, relaxed atmosphere. And so she said that like in a joking manner. Her father then made a statement, and that's the only thing I've ever heard him say about her, and I haven't heard him say anything since, where he kind of denounced it, like, that that's basically Jamaicans aren't just about bunning ganja, right? And I haven't heard anything from him since. So, with that, all that as a background, I will start off with the ladies because we're talking about Kamala Harris. What is your position on, not on Kamala Harris, the candidate, but do you fully embrace her as a Jamaican, or do you think that there's kind of like a somewhat of a void there between her and Jamaica, as I think there is? Famu, start off with you.
I have never seen her as a Jamaican, and I do not see immigrant kids as coming from that native country that their parents is from. So I would say she could have, how would I say it? I don't see her as a Jamaican, but should she maybe speak more of her Jamaican roots or make it an equal playing field for her mom and her dad? That depends on the relationship that they had. And I don't know if based on what her dad came out and say that we're not the family she's from, and her grandmother would have been, upset for her to talk about ganja, associating it with her family. So I don't know if that's what caused her to not want to promote the Jamaican side, like how she does the Indian side. But we would need to know a little bit more about her background, how she grew up, how close she was with her parents, individually. I am a daddy's girl, so I'm always talking about my dad. I remember in the 9th grade, my teacher asked if my mom didn't do anything because I never talked about my mom. And I'm like, yeah, my mom does everything. I say, I look like my mom, so there's no reason to talk about my mom. But I went everywhere with my dad. Right. But it didn't mean I loved my mom any less. It's just that I had more of, what I think people wanted to hear in terms of my rapport with my dad versus my mom, who is more quiet. So my mom doesn't say a whole lot. My dad is more the jovial one, the one that's outgoing, that, everybody sees. And I'm everywhere with my dad. So if I was in Camilla's shoes, you would have heard about my dad and not necessarily hear anything about my mom. So again, I think it boils down to the relationship that she has with her dad and the relationship she has with her mom, and just how much she's able to, be herself around either of them.
Yeah, and so it's not an issue really. It's just it's a commentary because I children who of divorced parents often gravitate towards one versus the other. So it's not the fact that she doesn't really talk about her father. That is what it is. I just kind of wish that she would have referenced Jamaica, right? In talking about her values, and she can reference going run up and down in Brownstone or what have you. I mean, you don't have to be all specific like that. But it would just be kind of nice to hear, to acknowledge that part of her background. You don't have to say anything about daddy. You can.
The fact that she didn't bring in her grandparents at all, and that's maybe where her Jamaican culture would have maybe come in some more since she came to Jamaica, spend time. Because I did see a picture floating around with her and her grandmother. So maybe if she was talking about her parents, then that would have come out some more. But she just talk about her mom. That's basically all she says. She doesn't really reference India. She just says her mom. We make that kind of correlation between India and her versus Jamaica and her, because she talk about her mom. That's true. That's the angle I look at it from. I mean, I was disappointed when I listened to her speech and I didn't hear anything about her dad. I was like,
I was waiting.
I was waiting for in her life. I'm like,
I was waiting for some Jamaica reference.
But I was like, okay, so there goes another man that wasn't there.
Yeah. So special. What do you think would be the reception if she goes to Jamaica as vice president? Do you think it? You remember when Obama went to Jamaica? All right, that's
Jamaica.
Yeah. So how you think Jamaicans would receive her as one of our own, or just another Yankee vice president? What do you think?
Yeah, man. You see, Jamaica is a warm-hearted country, you know, and we're
Country
willing,
anyway.
we're willing,
Not
we're
all,
willing
not all.
to accept. We're willing to accept anybody,
Uh,
even with flaws. And I feel they'll embrace her because all Shafidra just go down there and drop our Obama upon them, and they're war go on Jamaica. Right? And everybody the outside.
No, because they don't come out right. They go, don't even try. We can accept it from Barack because he's not Jamaican. But if you have some Jamaican blood in you, I can't say, oh, go on. What?
You know. But I mean, I'm pretty sure she have a greater commander at the patois than what she sure. I mean, initially it might look like, you know, she might be thinking that Jamaica is not very marketable. Showing herself as a Jamaican at this time, it is not the best thing for her. But looking further on down the road, you might see a little bit more Caribbean Jamaican swag with her, you know?
You think so?
Because every Jamaican, even if you just have Jamaican parentage, show that, right? Yeah, man, me I expect all a Jamaican flag on the vice president car when she drive down the street. Me I look out for that.
on the front plate.
Yes, man, on the front plate.
Big Jamaican dice in the mirror.
Yeah. me I look out for a little cultural day where she might talk about Louise Bennett. You know, I say, yo,
man,
boy, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you said that, I can only imagine because I was watching some clips on not some clips, yeah, that Obama documentary on MSNBC this past weekend, and so they were just like showing some of the events that they had at the White House, you know, with Common and people that we listen to. I can't relate to not what's been going on in the past 4 years. So can you imagine having something like a cultural day? And then having like some Jamaican poets up there. Oh Lord, if that happens.
Yeah, but me now got too lick out for now yet because she not get a juggling yet, you know. It's still pending. Right?
Yeah.
So when she get a juggling,
it's not pending. It
not happen until she swear, you know. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But right now it's still just pending like your paycheck, because if you not get yet, a bill's weekend, if you not get yet, some bill are late. So
hey, so Doc, are you so quiet tonight, Doc? You normally full of opinion.
Okay.
Well,
I guess it's my turn to speak. Well, I mean, I don't know. You kind of moved on to Farron, so I'm just like, okay.
No, go on.
Moment. I don't know.
We can barely see you, by the way. You need to turn on your light.
Huh? Oh,
we
yeah.
Can barely see
Mood
you.
over there.
It's what? What did
You're
you
like
say?
you're setting the mood over there.
Yes, of course. Hold on.
Who all up over there?
No. I'm a bit mixed here.
See that?
I'm a bit mixed here, right? In
All
that, unfortunately, sometimes as parents, some things come back to bite us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to beat up on Mr. Harris, but yeah, in all seriousness, he probably should have done in hindsight, should have done a better job. So
We don't know.
With that being, no,
We don't know what happened.
No. Yeah,
Mommy could have said, you're not seeing these children. We don't act like that don't happen.
Yeah, but in the United States,
Right.
there are legislations here to ensure that you see a child even. Wait, no.
She also moved to Canada. Mommy told them go to Canada.
Wait, no, man.
She went to high school in Canada.
But I'm sure if he probably had done what his due diligence, the laws would have been in place for him to see his kids.
So blame the man. Gotcha.
No, I'm not blame him. I'm not gonna blame him. It's just, I'm just saying, it would have been nice if it, if he had addressed the issue a little bit different.
So I'm
with that
whatless.
being
Gotcha. Go on, man. You know how I am. Just go.
with that being said, that part of the Jamaican culture, she really missed out on it because you can't really miss what you never had. So a lot of Jamaicans are somewhat offended, right? But in all fairness, she can't give you what she don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And where she comes from, India, me can't eat curry every day, man. We don't have problem too.
What she
Right,
give,
so,
I
I
don't
mean,
see where she give no big preference to India. She talk about her mother. That does not mean she's giving preference to India over
Some
Jamaica.
curry must run over there. You can't
But
tell
you
me
know
curry
what?
not run
But
over
you know what?
Is it curry
think-
chicken or chicken curry? Ah.
But I think here's what I think. I think if she probably had a decent relationship with the dad, she would have definitely embraced Jamaica a little bit more. And
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, and I also think that if she really had a relationship with her father, because we can tell you, Mr. Harris come from out of St. Anne, okay, old time countryman.
Yeah,
You see
man.
him on site where he said he was evidently, and I honestly believe he was offended with the comment she made with the marijuana. When say, I mean, my God, you know, even your forefather, they must have a rule in the grave based on the comments. So if she knew her dad on a different
She
level,
would not have said
no,
that.
absolutely, you gotta know you can't do that because.
But nothing wrong with ganja, which is the next topic.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, because me come from Jamaica, my family come from Jamaica. I've never smoked marijuana yet, so you cannot say that.
Me drink.
Yeah, man.
Watch it, the tone when she leave, you know, she said, this is what
she drink the
said.
tea. You
I
drink
mean,
the tea,
are
Doc?
you kid-
You drink the tea? Ganja tea.
No, I don't do nothing ganja. I've never
Okay.
experimented with that thing.
Okay, so
Right?
you don't want the healing. You don't want the natural healing.
Me have a healing.
I'm here say they ain't drink enough over Devon, you know.
They do. I've had the tea before.
It's the healing of the nation.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
You know,
though,
that's the richest
I mean,
spice.
But you have to be careful with the community here because everything them here, them take it and run with it. Just like how some people believe, say, if you put the universal one, which is the bleach, in the IV, it would have killed the corona. You have to be careful where you educate people across here because
if you know what? Say that again.
They can smoke marijuana, huh?
Say that again now. Ganja cure corona. Oh, you said?
Where Trump asked about a disinfectant. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying because
Okay.
this culture is so delicate. You have to be careful what you put out there because a lot of them don't read. Okay, and then you know if you have some type of person where you look up to, you just run with whatever. But in all seriousness, there's a bunch of us, maybe 50, 60, 70. I don't know what I mean. I want to go start messing with statistics and stuff. But enough Jamaicans that have never smoked marijuana, and there are people who really believe that as long as you come from Jamaica, worse that if you have dreadlocks, you smoke weed. You know.
As for the people listening. Ganja tea is not regular tea. Don't listen to them people out here at all.
Hey,
right?
It's healing.
Nobody said it was.
It's healing. It's the healing of the nation. Text.
Right.
That is so true though, because when I just came to America, we had we were being mentored by University of Florida agronomic club students, and everybody when they heard I came from Jamaica thought I knew where to get the best weed, and I said, why would I know that? They're like, you're from Jamaica.
Plus the
I've never
Loxton.
smoked a weed forever in my whole life.
So what you do with Loxton? Yeah, where's the
I'm not
Lox,
a
man?
Rastafarian. I am a Christian every day of the week. I am a Christian.
Man.
I am not Rastafarian.
Yeah. Where's the Lox? If you cut that off.
Let me soon cut them. Don't worry.
Hey, cut them and send some over here.
That is
Getting back to the original
that's why
question.
her dad said what he did, because it is already a negative connotation towards Jamaica in terms of weed.
So
that's
the next
not
topic.
something that they wanted him to, he would have wanted her to say in terms of Jamaica.
Yeah.
Tex, what you think? Tell her what you think, Tex.
Gangsta.
Well, I think we're gonna be in a man.
All right, Beanie.
So getting back to the original question, how do we feel about it? Well, I claim her, period. Let's look at the facts, okay? Father's Jamaican, mother's Indian. So she has Jamaican blood. So me personally, I think in our culture as a whole, we embrace her just because we know that. Now, do I have a little problem with her not embracing it like she should? At this point, no, not really. It's early. We don't know too much yet. It's early, and I think she's kind of treading lightly on everything she does. Now, nobody can tell me how to feel, and nobody can tell y'all how to feel. So, myself as a proud Jamaican, of course, I embrace her. So, like I said, Chris, you stated when she was on the Breakfast Club, she, made that statement, whatever. So it's a matter of convenience right now to mention that, right? So, it depends on the fan base. So let's wait and see, And the ladies basically pointed out to the fact, the relationship with her father, and that's one thing we really don't know about. What do you say? It was early on as 5 that they got a divorce, when they have you. Dad might have, left under whatever circumstances, and that culture probably left with her. We don't know what kind of, memories she has or how she holds her father, what regard she holds, and that culture went out the window with that. So I, will just hold my judgment right now, give her a chance. She hasn't even, made it to office yet, so I think we'll see that side at some point.
So, you think she got the pardon, Buju?
There you go. You can't have a segment without Buju.
You haven't talked about Buju.
Have to.
Hey, if you pardon Buju, I'll forget. Pardon Buju and Free Cartel. Oi! All right. So, Kamala, I love Kamala Harris.
I do too.
My father calls her cousin Kamala. So it just feel like she's one of us because she come from, our father come from rural center and like we, so it just feel like we roll along the same paths and feel as our cousin some kind of way. So, cousin Kamala.
Everybody will come from around a saint and related. I keep telling Farron that and into the
Yes.
No, seriously, they're all related. Everybody will come from around a saint and related.
Yeah,
man, everybody from that section related.
Yeah.
Somehow will behave yourself, and all bad. Somehow will behave yourself, man.
The whole everybody from around there. Here.
So speaking of ganja, ladies, not just ladies. The next topic is about ganja. And this, so we have a group on Facebook, Just Reasoning, and Richie Royal, who has been on the show before, youth from Trelawny, whose brother just got drafted to play for the Charlotte Hornets, by the way.
He's watching right now.
Yeah, big up yourself, Shane. He posted a question on the Just Reasoning group, what would it take to legalize ganja in Texas? And, so there were some interesting responses, and there's an interesting article that was posted about what is being done specifically in Texas towards that goal. So just to sum up some things from the article, 2 Texas state senators introduced a bill to legalize, regulate, and tax ganja for recreational use in Texas. So their rationale being, the COVID-19 has blown a $4.6 billion hole in the Texas budget. So that's significant. And our legalization would, they've analyzed it and said it would add about 30,000 jobs or so, and add, if it's taxed at a similar rate to what has been done in Colorado, would add like $1.1 billion in tax revenue to the state of Texas, which again is very significant. So just continue with those trends. This past November, 4 more states voted to have ganja, not medicinal. The number is greater for medicinal, but for recreational use, 4 more states voted to have ganja for recreational use, bringing the total to 15. So there are 15 states in the United States as of this past November that have legalized ganja for recreational use. So with that as the basic background, we're talking, what can be done here in Texas. And so, and in many things, this falls, for the most part, along political lines, not entirely, because like 2 other states that voted to legalize ganja for recreational use in November were Montana and South Dakota, which are two heavily Republican states who voted for Trump in this past election. But they also voted for recreational marijuana. In Texas, particularly, though, the Republicans, control state office, control the state legislature, and they control what bills get to the floor, all of that. And they're completely against legalization. Not only are they against legalization, they're against lowering the penalties for recreational use, because saying that it was basically be a path towards legalization. So within Texas, we have that fight. So with that said, we considering the economic benefits. Tex, I'll start with you. Is it time for Texas to legalize the thing? What do you say?
Hello. How you gonna start with me on the weed section?
Yeah, this is random. This is random. I just picked somebody. I just picked somebody.
About weed. Texas first.
I just picked somebody. Either me or mine more,
And where's your background, by the way? It look kind of suburban over there.
I upgrade my Zoom and I can't find the video and all kind of foolishness. Bex.
So, first of all, we say legalization, but I think of it as decriminalization. And the reason I say that is because of so many people that have been incarcerated for this so-called drug. When I think about alcohol, and I think that some of the things are in cigarettes and formaldehyde, zinc, and just things like that. They're in cigarettes compared to alcohol and weed. We should be thinking, why is there such a ban on this substance? Now, there are pros and cons to it, but as far as decriminalizing it at this point in time, I think it is time. I've read an article about 128 million people have tried marijuana. The two doctors are not in that count. 128 million.
I said I'm saying.
Have actually tried marijuana. Now, when I talk about decriminalization, over 600,000 people get charged with some kind of, basically get arrested for marijuana per year. So basically that's like one person every minute, okay? Decriminalization would actually, get rid of that. I mean, this is time that we spend prosecuting people in the court system that costs the state millions of dollars, okay? We could eliminate that totally. Now, when I talk about it, and when anybody talks about it, we should always talk about the pros and the cons, because there are pros and cons of it. Just like alcohol, it needs to be rules and regulations behind it and things like that. And it just needs to be a system around it. Now, as far as the Republicans are concerned, I really think we will have a chance once we make it financially appealing to them, because I don't think it's nothing more than that. And as soon as they can benefit off it financially, hey, I think we'll have a better chance.
All right, Doc. Okay. So for those who are, let me just ask. Let me not assume, ladies. Are you for or against legalization? I don't know if this has come up in Florida, but so let's say Florida and Texas. Where the issue in general? Are you for or against legalization of recreational ganja use?
I would, as crazy as this is gonna probably sound, I'd probably lean more towards for.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, why is that?
Because it's a natural herb, right? It's an herb, and it has medicinal benefits. No, yes, it does. No,
isn't the issue. Weren't you just licking out against ganja like a while ago?
She said personally.
She said
I don't use it.
Tea she talked about,
okay.
man.
All right, thank you. See, all right, turn on to the side tea.
Yeah, man. I really Devonshire lick out against you know. She said, "Don't go down there. I drink it too hard down there."
But yeah, I just don't foresee Texas really, and I mean, seeing that we're here, we'll talk about that. It's nowhere, no time soon that's gonna be possible because one, a lot of our funds get, generated from the prison system. The prison system is a business. So if we can't find a reason to lock you up, business, right? That's one thing. The next thing is, especially Houston, we are the hub for medicine. So unless the medical side, the pharmaceutical side can find a way to benefit from this, that stuff, it's not going to get legalized.
So talking about the prison aspect, right? So talk about the prison aspect of that. So unbeknownst to me, I think last year Texas legalized hemp. And it's about an hour ago, I found out the difference between hemp and marijuana. It's basically the same thing, but hemp is, if it's less than 0.3% THC, it's considered hemp. Greater than that is marijuana. Same plant, but THC is a substance, I guess you high. So Texas legalized hemp last year. And they said from that has happened, the amount of marijuana possession arrests has dropped significantly. Something like 63,000 to 40,000 or something. And then a lot of cities are just kind of lowering it on the priority list of things that they should run around. So yes, the prison industrial complex we know is a big business, but it's as Tex said, if you make it financially beneficial, that's when you go. They're not going to do it because of any other reason. But $1.1 billion is $1.1 billion. When you're looking at a big hole in your budget and you're thinking of the ways that we can patch this up versus cutting funds and slashing funds for agencies. If you see another source of revenue, Texas is not going to sit by forever and watch all these other states, eat and get, full off all this Ganja tax revenue. People going to Colorado and California, Texas is going to eventually. So they will not be an early adopter. They'll probably be one of the last states in the union. Mm-hmm. But, it is going to happen at some point. It's just a matter of when. I think ultimately we have to replace the people who are in the way right now. Texas, quote them Bible Belt or what have you, which, just a political voting block. But if you make the argument attractive enough financially, you will see more converts. Dr. J, Rasta. Why you say Rasta?
I don't know Rasta, Bridget. I am for it as well because
of course the Rasta got to be for it. Okay, go on.
Never smoked before, you're not gonna start know that it is legalized. So I don't think you're gonna be attracting so many more persons that wouldn't want to smoke it. Mm-hmm. And then just give them a freeway. Okay, how much can you smoke? You're either gonna pass out and die, or you're gonna realize, okay, I can't do this thing like I thought I could. And a lot of times, if you think about our teens and Jamaican teens in America, right? Our parents can send us to get a beer or something. A young person here can't do that. Mm-hmm. I was never prone to start, like hiding and drinking alcohol and then not knowing what I'm doing, versus somebody here that would happen to. So mm-hmm. I think if it is legalized, then a lot of people that are trying so hard to find it elsewhere and try to hide and do what they're doing, it's not going to be so compelling for them to do it anymore because they can get it whenever they want to. And exactly. So it's going to cut down on that thing. And I do believe that the other doctor, she's right when they talk about the prison system and how much money they're making. Oh, wow. At FAMU right now, we have a medical marijuana project going on.
Really? And, are you on the project, Doc?
No, I'm not, but my I am not on the project, but my major professor is the executive director for that project. Okay. And she has put together an education, a little course on marijuana. Half of the stuff I heard blew my mind. I'm like, I didn't even know these things happened. So they're trying to educate as many Floridians as possible on the use of marijuana, both the advantages and disadvantages of marijuana. And I think if the states begin there, then legalizing it, people will be more responsible in using it later on. And you don't necessarily have to smoke it. I have had students that tell me that they've had, I don't know what they call it, the cake or whatever, and that
brownies?
Is far more dangerous than them just just smoking it.
The edibles?
So, yes, edibles. There you go. I was trying to remember what the word was. Yeah.
Man,
so that is far more dangerous than them smoking it, because you're taking all of that stuff in your system.
Way more.
So and that is why I'm saying, if you legalize it and educate the people about it, then you're going to reduce the abuse of that plant, that herb, so much.
Man,
it's not taboo anymore.
I had some ganja gummy bears about 8 years ago. I'm still high. Nah, man, because you just hear some gummy bears. So you're eating like gummy bears, and they're like, whoa, yeah. So edibles are dangerous things. Especially, what you say? Let me make you argue differently.
No,
give me an hold on. You can't talk your true feelings, but I'm going to ask it this way. Give me your argument against legalization.
Well, all right. Here the thing you know. After me left high school, a fire.
You stop burn weed.
Right. And then after me walk in the advisor office like a rattler, and me look for my course outline.
Like a family rattler?
Yes, like a family. Right. After me see my course outline, I might have to burn some weed just to get through the semester. Right? Because me can't go do it. Right? All right. Consider this scenario now. Serious scenario. You leave your yard and you drive, you go buy some Popeyes. And a guy using car and lick your heart. Big crash. Right? Mm-hmm. And my personal injury attorney tell me, say, yo, you forgot a doctor, you know. After me reaching a doctor office and a pain start lick me, I gonna need some marijuana to deal with the pain. So she have to write me a script. I saw me see it. Right? It's all hard. So, it helped with the pain. So that is the argument for it. Right? Now the argument against it.
Give me an argument against it. Yeah.
Argument against it is, me no want to drive down 290 and a high guy lick me on the road. Right?
So, all right, go ahead.
Because until it illegal for drive and smoke. Right? Don't give them no permission to use it, because a guy go drive and smoke then beat already. But now them gonna drive and smoke weed. Right? Right? You ever see a guy drive and smoke weed?
All the time.
Yeah.
But funny enough though, I've never heard of anybody who smoked marijuana that has had a crash. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's happened. I've never heard of it.
It's
seriously.
Nah. People don't care what the laws are.
In marijuana, having any type of alcohol would do it, but me never hear nobody hype on marijuana crash yet.
Yeah, nobody high.
I never hear about it.
Yeah. When you're high, you're not speeding, you're chilling.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
but you're in another. Yeah. I mean, what I've heard is that you're in another world. So you might be going down the road chilling, but you're not realizing that you're running into somebody's back just the same. So. I mean, maybe somebody need to do a study on that, and then they start checking. So they check for blood. They check for alcohol level in your breathing stuff. So maybe that's something that somebody could start. Look at how many persons. Okay, you were drinking, were you smoking? Whatever they test for with marijuana in your system.
One thing
how they could link it to it.
One thing I've heard is that marijuana is chemically less addictive than alcohol, tobacco, and caffeine.
Yep.
Right. So, you know, and what a friend of mine, I used to work with a long time ago, was telling me, like the history of ganja prohibition, like how it started. It's like it has a very racial history around prohibition, like the jazz musicians and what have you. And so now they started demonizing it for that reason, and it's out of that history why they made it illegal to begin with. You know, but yeah, I mean, when you think about it, it's a plant, right? It grow from the earth. There's no processing and all that. It's a plant. You know what I mean? So, you know, but from an economic standpoint, there is no argument to me why alcohol should be legal and ganja should be illegal. There is no good argument there.
The issue though is it's the people who are pushing it, and I don't want to really pushing, not legalizing it. I don't want to tread too long on this area. Marijuana is considered an herb, which basically means that it's sitting on the natural side. Okay, naturopathic, natural type of doctors we get fight day in, day out. Marijuana does have its medicinal benefits. Right. Okay. So even if you do it recreationally, the potential of it treating certain things is gonna be there, right? Even without it being tampered with for those medicinal purposes. So with that being said,
the pharmaceutical
AMA, that side of the world,
they're going to fight.
Have a problem with this because they're mash up them business, you know.
Oh yeah,
so if you can't go buy
definitely.
Come off of the set. Why we need to come get your medication?
Exactly. Plant that shit in my backyard and be healed.
That's good.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it either.
Yeah. The next time my back hurt me, I weed me one.
And a lot of people that have cancer, they do drink it or smoke it or whatever it is just to ease the pain.
Pain relief.
So it's a good pain reliever.
Pain relief.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot the name of the show, but
them have one called weed too, you know.
It's a show on Vice, and they talk about, they're giving examples of many people going through all sorts of conditions, whether it be epilepsy or all sorts of different things, where they had a benefit from, I mean, I'm talking like babies. Of course, babies not smoking, but in some kind of little oil that they put on their tongue, and you used to have all these seizures, and the seizures just stop. So if this is available, why would you want to make this thing illegal? And, I mean, obviously, that's a very good point that you made. Texas doc on Florida doc. So yeah, we know that fight is going to come from. There are entities that benefit from the situation as it is right now. For one, you mentioned a few of them. The prison industrial complex, you're going to get a fight from them. And you are going to get a fight from the pharmaceutical industry as well, until they figure out a way to make the same money off it. But that fight is going to come. So, and in Texas particularly, we're just going to have to remove those people in office right now who are in the way. That's basically the issue right now. We're not going. It's easier to remove somebody than just to get them to change their mind. So I think,
but you want to educate them as well, so that they can
definitely
have a holistic approach to it. So maybe removing them may not be the best thing. But kind of educate them first, and then if nothing happens, then you kick them out after.
Right. So I mean, so I agree with. Well, I agree with both parts. I agree that educating, I think, is good for the overall public. Right. It's good for people to not be afraid of this. However, for the legislators, I don't believe they have really a principled position against this. I think it's just in their political interest to feel this way. So if we make it inconvenient for them politically to have this stance, then they will change. They're going to go with the flow based on what's going to keep them in office. I don't think it's a principle they have. You know, I mean,
I
it's
think
just
it's
that.
ignorance.
Yeah.
So let me ask a question now.
It's politics.
So when they legalize it, they're gonna let out all our people them but then lock up because of
Yeah, they should.
There should be some kind of
the caveat
retroactive.
why they may not want to do it too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that are in prison because of it, now you have to decriminalize them, as Tech said.
Yeah. I mean, so there's and we're talking about
in the states that they have legalized it. Yeah, they have decriminalized it and
in some
letting people out. In some,
yeah. But it would be a separate bill, right? You know, because people in jail for the crime they committed at the time. You know, so if you pass legalization, you will then have to pass a separate thing that says everybody who's in jail for it right now should be free, and that should happen.
How you went to jail for it though, because if you were just a consumer with some in your pocket versus you having
strictly possession,
a retailer or whatever.
Because me have one thermos full of weed tea.
Somebody not gonna know thermos.
That's your business.
Thermos.
They're not gonna know what you have.
Oh man. Yeah, anyway, so
just like if you're going about with your edibles, nobody not going to know that it's in there.
A gummy bear is a gummy bear. Like
exactly. They're not
gummy
going
bear.
If you have byproducts of it, you're not going to jail for it because they're not testing for it.
But suppose I want licky.
Gummy bear mash me up, man.
Suppose I want licky police. One licky police pull me over and see me at gummy bear and say, yo, I'm not one of them then.
Give what?
Be my guest.
Give him some man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Be happier police officers out there. Shoot.
Yeah, for real. Kill less people. And this continuing on the medicinal topic, the vaccine. We talked about the COVID-19 vaccine, and we talked about the, risks involved and how, basically, if you look at from, for other vaccines in the past, we're talking about years of development. And for this one, for a couple different companies, Pfizer and Moderna, we're talking about months, like 7-8 months. So a lot of people are skeptical about it, naturally. So I heard a former congressman and former Democratic presidential candidate, John Delaney, made a proposal. He wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post, which I thought was interesting. He said that we should pay people to take the vaccine. Wow. Pay $1,500 for people to take the vaccine, which would have a dual effect. He said, for one, we're in the midst not only of a pandemic, but of a global economic downturn. So it would have the dual effect of both stimulating the economy, because people get $1,500. People who go to run the vaccine for the monetary benefits, or to spend that money as soon as they get it. It would have the dual effect of both stimulating the economy as well as immunizing, if that's the right word, a large percentage of the population. We know there's so much resistance to the vaccine. So, what do y'all? I thought that was an interesting approach, and so he talked about that. He said that they did a similar thing in India for some past immunizations, where they gave them benefits. In that case, it wasn't $1,500. It was actually food. It was like beans and food for hungry people, and it had a substantial impact. People came and got vaccinated, and it said that increased the amount of people who came and got vaccinated by 600%. Wow. So a vaccine is great, but it doesn't mean a thing if people aren't vaccinated. So, what do y'all think about paying people to take the vaccine? Texas Doc, what do you say? I know you're not really into the vaccine thing. What do you say?
Right. But you see that move? That's very, very sly.
Sly in a good way?
SLY. No, evil as ever.
You think it's bad?
Yes, it is evil. It's evil. We need to stop and think about this.
Evil?
Who do you think this is going to impact?
Poor people.
Think? Right. And
poor people going to take it?
Who makes up the majority of poor people?
Minorities.
Yep.
Black and brown. I hate to make
poor white people.
No, but for the most part, are we?
It's percentage-wise, but it's a ton of poor white people. It's more poor white people in number.
White people then.
Yes, but here's the thing. A lot of our people, and no insults to, or we just don't read. So we ignorant. If you don't read, you're gonna be less informed. And when you're less informed, you make less informed decisions as well. Okay? Remember, initially, right? They targeted us. A matter of fact, they wanted to carry it all the way in Africa. Them target those folks. Here they are again with a different swing, and it's hitting the brown. I hate to make this be a racial thing. I hate it, but it's just facts. And they make the system. Me just observe and comment on it. Here we go again, targeting our brown and our black people. So once again, we must be the guinea pig for $1,500 if we lose our life. So basically, our life not really worth not more than $1,500.
So you think they are targeting? So you think they're trying to what? Kill off black people?
I'm not gonna say, but seeing that the angle which they were trying to go to get us to be the first one, there are more ways than one to get things done. So all right. We give you $1,500 job, be the guinea pig, and let us see how this thing. Because remember, it was said that they wanted to give it to us first.
So you don't believe in the vaccine at all? You don't believe in vaccines at all?
I'm not disputing that, but with what is going on and the mechanism and the physiology and how typical vaccines work, if we're not even surviving this thing, I call it a thing. We don't even know if it's a virus, right? Why would I don't know what it is. Somebody create this thing and know it's unleashed and we can't get a grip.
So you think China make it?
And I come from?
Yeah.
You think it's man-made?
It's a Chinese disease.
You think so you don't think it's natural? You think so? Okay. All right. So you think it's like an attack, like a purposeful attack on the world?
No, I am not gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that as it is. But
you just went there.
Them sound like them a try
chemical warfare.
Them a try trick me and use me as a guinea pig and
that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing.
Nobody force you to take it.
First of all, me not have to take no vaccine for my $1,500. No, give me it, right? Because I'm gonna pay back in a tax.
Right? No,
right.
Tax free.
You know what?
No,
tax free.
No, you have to pay tax.
Tax free.
Nothing is free. So Gary, you are correct. So then trick you up front and tell it to them and give it. And when
you see,
back, so yeah, man, I see where you go.
Then
you know, going
to
some states some people are being asked to pay back their stimulus, and some people that were out of work also are being asked to pay back the what do you call it? That money that people get
unemployment.
Unemployment check, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it is sad to know that you say you're helping me out because I'm not working, but I have to pay the money back. So.
But about the vaccine, though, Dr. J.
The vaccine, I don't want nobody to pay me to take it. If I feel like taking it, I take it. If I don't, then let me die.
But they're not forcing you. The option is there if you want it.
I'm saying, if you're hungry and you have you instead of me dying and getting $1,500, of course I'm gonna opt for the $1,500 and you give me the vaccine so I can try to live. So those two should never go together at any cost. So No.
But what if it? Okay, what if it vaccinates a large percentage of the population, and we see the trajectory of this of the infection rate fall dramatically?
But
I guess
What
that.
if?
but look at who they're trying to vaccinate first. The people that
Where
are
the
on front
targets?
line. No, forget about
Go
the
ahead.
common people. They're trying to make sure that the doctors and nurses on the front line, they're the ones, that's the argument now, right? That
Sure.
they're the ones that would get it first so that they can be well enough to make sure they take care of the other people that have it.
Sure.
So, I mean, if that's the case and they take it and they start seeing some amount of immunity, and we see where more people are benefiting from them taking it, then fine. But I still don't think that $1,500 should be attached to anybody taking it.
Is not enough?
It shouldn't be any money. No,
What's your
it shouldn't be
price? What's your price?
It shouldn't be any money at all.
How about 20 grand? You take it for 20 grand?
No, they shouldn't be putting
50
any
grand.
money on it.
What's your price, Doc?
I have no price.
All right.
If them are gonna give me $1,500, give me it and stop beating
Just
me up.
give the poor
Right.
people the $1,500 so
man.
they can get out of the road.
15,000? How about 15,000? I'm doing an auction here. Yeah, 50,000. Can I get 50,000? 20,000. 20.
Because the percentage effectiveness for me, them I talk about. If me take a $1,500 from
95%. 95%.
Yeah,
That's
but
high.
Me might drop in at 5%. I'm not even get to spend that $1,500 after me get it. Right? Suppose me drop in at 5%. The $1,500 not help me. Right?
Doc, you drop.
I got dead before me done spend.
We have a guest, a cat.
Oh,
Sorry.
hold on. Your cat?
What's your cat's name?
And what your cat name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. Ask Sebastian if you want to take the vaccine.
He said no.
I'm sure that cat has had some shots. The cat has shots done.
Yes,
Hey,
but
All right, see?
Hold on, but animals can catch COVID too, you know. Well, me
Exactly.
animal them first.
Hey, Sebastian, you need to sign up, youth.
It's an animal virus.
Let me Sebastian, me carry him go get the shot and take you $1,500. And then we see what you know let me.
Actually,
Me I take you $1,500. Yeah.
actually, for pet owners, if you check your pet's records, if they're up to date, they get a COVID vaccine.
Oh yeah, for $1,500.
Well, not a
Hold
vaccine.
on.
They get a COVID. They get a
Hold
COVID
on.
shot.
Come again. Say that again.
Check your animal records. They get a COVID shot as a part of their immunization.
Oh,
Dogs,
really?
cats. Yeah.
So they have a working vaccine for pets right now?
Well, I'm not saying it's a vaccine, but I know it's part of their immunization. It's a COVID.
Really?
It's a COVID shot.
Okay. Huh. All right. So nobody's on board at the 1,500 text? Anybody?
Me take you
No.
$1,500.
I mean,
You sell your soul for $1,500?
How about
here's
they
my
give me
thing.
$1,500?
You said it.
Let's
The price is.
let's say I took it.
No, it don't work that way. No, honest sin. Yeah.
My thing though is, if your vaccine was sure, you don't need to be, bribing
try
people
sell it.
to take it.
I try to
You
sell it.
understand what I'm saying? So
right.
basically, you're using people as guinea pigs. And like I said, this is not funny, because up front you give these people the money to potentially put their life on the line, and then after that you figure out some way in the background to take it back. That's just not
All right.
cool. I'm telling you, once again, they know who they're targeting.
All right. So, counterpoint. Look, our way out of this thing, we can't just mask and social distance forever. Can't do that. We are going to have to get a large percentage of the population vaccinated, right? We don't have 7-8 years for full development and testing to get people vaccinated. We just can't do that.
No hurry.
So, we are going to have to. I'm not saying that this is the only, and this is something. This isn't even being debated in Congress or anything. This is a former Congressperson talking. right? It's not like something that's like on the floor and the debates and it or what have you. That's just one person's opinion. I just thought it was interesting as an approach, because there's a lot of resistance to it, and doctors and researchers can come and say, "Whoa, we got the vaccine. It's great. We're ready." But if everybody's like, "No, they're trying to kill us off," and nobody take it, it will make a difference. So we're going to have to move that needle to make people go and take it. So that is one way to do it. So I saw a very interesting special on MSNBC a couple weeks ago. It was talking about the vaccine itself. So I understand it a little better. So I'm trying to explain this in my non-medicinal background terms. Essentially, what they said is the way that the COVID-19 virus works. The COVID-19 virus itself has like these pointed things on the end of it. That's the corona crown, and it works by that crown-looking thing at the end of it goes and penetrates healthy cells, gets inside of the cells, infects the body, right? So the way that the vaccine works essentially is to put something over the point of things to prevent them from being able to penetrate the healthy cells, right? So I just from a scientific standpoint, it explained it, very vividly and what have you. But coming back to the point though, if we don't do something, and we don't know how much people are actually just going to take it. The incentive might not be necessary. It might be enough people who are afraid for their life that they're going to just go and take it without any
people volunteer.
Inspiration. But will it be a significant, sizable portion of the population enough to bring it down? We'll see. But I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't. And if you skeptical and afraid to take it or whatever, cool. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'm not running into waiting line to go and take this. I won't be one of the early adopters because we don't know. So I'm not going to do those. But
iPhone 13.
but I want other people to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I want other people to do it to kind of see what happens. You know what I mean? So
England,
I think it's a bad idea.
England, then decide for the mass population when they talk about the regular population. Then decide to get the people them over 75 and older first, right? That them do UK. So I don't know if them are hopes boy. Them people are already living up. So we will see how it work with them if it don't work out good and then dead, then live already.
But it's a choice, right? But they're not making them tickets, right?
No, and they not get them $1,500 either.
Yeah.
Not even bus fare they not get. Not even bus fare they not get.
That is 83. I use healthcare.
If you go to England and get the vaccine next week.
I don't know. It's scary, but hey, can we all agree that we need people vaccinated, or are we just going to just mask up and social distance for the next decade? That's what we're going to do?
No, I need everybody.
That now go walk.
We need everybody else to vaccinate themselves. Everybody
is asking somebody else to do it, and nobody will ever get it done. So,
yes, go ahead.
Some people will have to say, all right, fine. So
I say they legalize the weed first.
And see the weed get out, right?
Hey, what if they put the vaccine in a gummy bear?
But the virus now go live in a gummy bear.
Hey, you never know. So I thought it was interesting. When look out against former Congressman John Delaney, I thought it was an interesting idea. And it worked in India.
But where are we going to get that type of money if they're having issues now just to give people money to keep
it's a priority. It's priority. When this thing just started off, you see how fast I'm finding $2 trillion? It's like it just like under the mattress, they just pull out 2 trillion and pass it the next week, and everybody get money. So they have money. It's priorities.
So maybe ask me something now. How much time you can go for the $1,500 vaccine?
You can't go and get vaccine every month, and that's how it works.
Then hold on, you're supposed to never work last month. It never work last month.
It never take.
Yeah, it never take. Now go back to it next month.
Hey, all right. So it sounds like you all are not on board with the money for the vaccine. I think it's a good idea. Make people go and get vaccinated, and let's see how it works.
Well, how about we just let the leaders go first? Let them go first.
That's fine.
That way, that way it will
They're not doing it.
Yeah, let them go first, and then the rest will follow. That's how we do it.
Hey, I just want to see other people take it. I want to see how it works. You know, like we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Camilla says she'll take it once the scientists say it's ready. So
yeah, I mean, you know,
volunteer already.
You know, once it's like say like a new iPhone update come out. You know, you want to see how it works, make other people do it, and see. You know what I mean? And if they don't lose all the data, or okay, yeah, I'll try it now.
Even so lose all of your teeth.
I want to watch to see what happens. See people start growing extra toes and whatever. And
but
if
you got
amount of time go by,
each body type and the environment you're living will allow that vaccine to impact you differently. So
right, which is kind of you know, that's not a good idea either. Which is another thing that I heard. I think it was a couple of HBCU presidents I think they were in the trials and were encouraging their students to also be in the trials because, as you mentioned, you know, different body types, different races, different genetic backgrounds. If we aren't in the trials, then
when they pass the vaccine.
Exactly. So we need to be in the trials. Now, again, we're not running in to go and get tested on, but it's kind of to our disadvantage if enough of us aren't in that sample group.
That was my point in the initial numbers that they said were tested. I mean, 15,000 with the vaccine, 15,000 with a placebo. There's 300 million people here. How does that pool
generalize for everybody?
Yeah, which is 95.5 is correct.
Which is the way that the testing thing. They start with a small group, like a phase 1, 2, and 3. Start with a small group, then they roll it out to a larger group. So
because they have to see how much people survive from the smaller groups.
But you know, it's I don't know, man. I'm just ready for this shit to be over.
Are you guys ready for herd immunity? Like, you know, the
see, no, that's idiocy. Just make a bag of people get sick and dead, and then okay, you're all immune now. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, if me did have a university, say the rattlers.
No, what Trump said, herd mentality. It's herd mentality, Trump said.
If you're not a vaccine, you can't come back to school. You can't turn in your schedule from now. No, you're not come back to school.
But remember, all universities are businesses, so.
Yeah. So like if me have a medical, say me have a chiropractic office now, and a guy hurt him back. May I ask him at the door, you get your vaccine? Because if you
can't come in here.
You can't come in here.
Right? Your back just have it broke.
You have to feel pain until you take your vaccine.
So that is just like the $1,500 dose special. Just in a different form.
Oh, but the pain I got hurt more than $1,500.
It's just like me hungry and I go buy one bread down the road.
Hey,
and my back hurt me.
I think it's a great idea. Speaking of twerking.
Yo, my youth, I like how y'all look for me, you know.
No, man. All right. So the last topic is I don't have to see. Well, it's been on social media, but Dr. J seemed like she don't really consume this kind of foolishness. But here's what happened. Here's the situation. at a popular brunch spot in Dallas, Texas, this past weekend. It would be clearer if I show the video, but I didn't pull it up and all that. But all right, so a place called True Kitchen in Dallas. And True Kitchen. Yeah. And apparently it's it's a popular brunch spot with black owned, and primarily black people go there and hang out. It's about DJ for brunch and all these things. And and so this past weekend, this video went viral where the owner came out and like cussed some people out. So what had happened was, the DJ was playing some music. There's a song, Throw That Ass in a Circle, I think it's the name of the song. And so, hey, ladies at brunch having a good time. The song come on, the DJ, I lick some nice tune, and they get up and start twerking like in the restaurant. And he's trying to maintain a nice establishment, right? So he went over and so they showed like so the video of him going off went viral. So he then had to release the videos of, he came over to them a couple of times before. And it's the surveillance video from the restaurant. So you couldn't hear any audio, but to see him kind of walk over and talking to them and, like he's like reason with them, like, you can't stand on the furniture and twerk with your ass all on the window in my restaurant, right? And then, so he did that one time. They kept on doing it and come back a second time and pleaded them, and they didn't do it. And so now the video that went viral, he came out and he's like, this is a nice establishment. I'm trying to do something for my people. And if you can't, go along with that, you can get the fuck out my restaurant. Yeah, you can get the you can get the fuck out my restaurant. I don't need your money, right? And so, so this thing has been talked about all over the place. It's a couple hundred miles from here, so it has been really talked about here. So, what do y'all think about that? Did he handle it the right way? I'll start with the ladies. Ladies first. What do you think?
As my mother would say, even in hell there are rules. So if you go to this man's place and he don't want that there, just don't do it. If you want his food, eat his food and leave.
But did he handle it the right way? Not the word they wrong.
How many times did he ask nicely before he had to behave like they were?
3 times per the surveillance video.
I mean, maybe he didn't handle it the right way, but some people you don't get through to them unless you're talking their language. So if that's the only way he could get through to them, then.
All right. So you are pro get the fuck out. Gotcha. All right. Texas Doc. What is it?
Well,
Texas Doc.
I would have to agree with her. There are rules.
Ladies, cutthroat.
You have to be respectful of people's rules when you go into their house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these, I am assuming, we're not toddlers; they were adults. So it should have just required one time because they say don't do it. You're supposed to behave if you can't follow that. You're supposed to behave like a hooligan. Come the third talk. It shouldn't get so, at that point in time, if you don't understand English and if you don't understand normal human to human conversation, then, you just get hooligan treatment. So you're
against brunch twerking. Sounds like.
Okay, but let me ask you, let's back up a little bit here. Who typically hangs out there? I mean, are there children there? What's going on?
I doubt it. I mean, I haven't been there, but I'm just thinking of the most popular brunch spots here in Houston. You only have kids there. They have a DJ playing all kinds of music. It's probably like mostly like a young 20-somethings hanging out drinking mimosas all day and they're just going with the flow. So it's not a kid-friendly environment. It's young 20 people. It's like a party.
Yeah, but nevertheless,
but it's not about the restaurant.
never. You have to have rules because if you allow one person to do this, then by next week or whenever
you're
you
not
open again,
making nothing.
the whole thing is gonna become devalued. So you have to put a stop to it. And like I said, you're adults. So if we ask you nice for the first time, it shouldn't require a third time, and it shouldn't require somebody have to behave like one old sitting till you stop.
I knew the ladies were going to be against the twerking. All right.
We're not against twerking. We're against you doing it where you're not. It is not wanted.
The environment, right?
I know. I'm just doing it for the TV. Just doing it for the cameras. Special.
Yeah.
Are you pro twerk or anti brunch twerk?
No, I am for it. Let me tell you.
Of course you are.
Let me tell you the problem now. You have to look on the environment. A Dallas that more time you have to drape up a guy, Your head tough, So if you've ever spent any time in there, go out there, you might have to drape up a guy just to make him hear you. But,
where's your wife from again? I forgot. What? Is it? Where's your wife from? All right, go on, continue.
But anyway, anyway, you have very diplomatic ways you can ask people to leave your place. I don't think you should ever handle anybody like that. And one other thing is that is what security is for. You call security and say, "Yo, fling out a brother."
But if it's a brunch place, would you need to have security?
No.
In Dallas, yeah.
In Dallas, anywhere you have more than 10 black people together.
There's a Houston, Dallas thing, so
right?
I'm joking.
I don't care what anybody wants. If you have more than 10 people there, right, you need to have security, right?
Yeah, Dallas people.
I have thrown house parties when I was at PV. And just because some people come from Dallas and come from Houston, then start war. Some people are rep Dallas, some are rep Houston, and fight kick off. And then
you call security.
Of course. They not own another place, and they fight over it. But at a sudden stage, you call security. You don't tell a guy that as a paying customer. You don't tell him that. You call security and tell him bring him out.
Thanks. What you say?
And look, all indicators show me he was dead wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, you said it was in Dallas. Okay. Number two, you're at brunch and you got a DJ.
Yeah.
What kind of music is the DJ playing? What kind of music is the DJ playing?
Yeah.
Because he sure ain't playing gospel.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day.
You can't twerk the gospel. Right.
Stop it. You sure ain't playing gospel. That's number two. It was probably some WAP song or something like that.
Throw that ass in a circle.
Okay? It's in an ethnic community, okay? And the way I feel, I go to your restaurant, I order wine. If I want to drink the wine with a straw, you can't tell me what to do, okay? If I'm paying for it, you cannot tell me what to do. And that incident, I guarantee, was just a moment. I don't think it was like throughout the whole brunch. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it was something that happened. Somebody got wild and, was dancing through the song. You let that roll. Let that roll. Okay, you let that roll. You diffuse the situation, let that play out and keep on going. And nobody's at fault for anything. So I think he was dead wrong.
So I guess he should have asked the DJ to change the song.
Change the song or play something a little bit lower tempo or something like that.
So and listen to like what he was saying. He was like, this is an upscale place. I'm trying to do something nice for my people, and you can't come in here twerking and shit. If you want to twerk, you can go to, call a few clubs, this club and that club, but don't bring that in here. And if you want to do it, you get the fuck out of my restaurant. That's basically where he came from. So I believe he handled it poorly. I'm not saying that the ladies were right in what they were doing, but look, I've been a 20-something-year-old drunk person at brunch doing all types of stupid shit. So I understand that. But to me, he's the professional in the situation. So as a professional, you deal with things professionally.
Yes.
So for one, he did not have, the whole restaurant didn't need to hear his speech. All he could go over to them, talk to them, give them that warning, and if they do it again, it's like, you know what, if you do that again, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And he can just talk to them right there at that table. didn't have to give some big speech and all that. You didn't have to do all that. So I believe he handled it poorly. With that said,
but what was said in the other 3 times when he approached them, though?
No, but look. So again, I have no problem if he asked them to leave. That happens every day at venues all around the place. People not behaving themselves correctly, and you go and you ask them to leave. That's no issue there. No shoes, no shirt, no twerking, no service. You know what I mean?
How about sometimes we can't even get in the door? How about that?
Yeah. So I have no problem with him asking them to leave. That's perfectly within his right.
Even though he's a businessman, does not mean he has a professional handle on it.
No, that's where I'm saying. That's where I'm saying he was wrong.
We don't know if he is.
Yeah. So I mean, he apologized for his words. Look, I understand it. I get it. You get, as we said, it wasn't his first time over there. He tried to, look, I'm talking to you nicely, and he was doing all this, and and they kept on doing the same thing. But to me, at that point, that's the time I would go as the owner and go and talk to my DJ and say, change the mood a little bit, play something a little different, play some remix of, play some different music. If you throw that ass in a circle around a bunch of drunk 25-year-olds, what do you think is going to happen? Well, I mean, is that drinking? So I don't know if they probably were. I don't know that for a fact. But look, you're in your early 20s, you're at brunch, you're having a good time, you with your girls, you hear your song that you heard in the club last night, and you get up and you do what you do. That happens. So you have to understand it. Music has a very, it has an impact on your mood and what you decide to do. If the music was different, I guarantee they would have been doing that. So if that has become a problem and you want to maintain this upscale atmosphere, cool. To have the DJ change the music, I guarantee people will respond differently. So
exactly.
I think he handled it poorly.
Yes.
But with that said, it is as a result of the way he handled it, why Roland Martin is talking about his business. People are talking about his business all over the place. So I believe this coming weekend, there's going to be a line around the block trying to get in that place. All publicity is good publicity. Yeah. So I guarantee it's going to be, a monetary benefit for him. But just as a professional, I think he handled it poorly. So
I agree.
Yeah.
So words
all right.
Yes, but
there are nice ways of asking people to leave a restaurant.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Even if you have to, right?
Yeah,
you don't because it could just be a misunderstanding. You tell a guy, "Yo, calm down, man." No matter how much time you tell a patron in your place, you just keep telling him unless it is just unbearable. You don't really ask him to leave, right?
But you don't know if other customers were offended and were asking.
People are always offended.
Their asses weren't offended.
People are always offended. If you dress too short in the club, people offended, right? So people are that is just a philosophy me understand with myself now. People are always offended. No matter what you do, you could be the nicest person on the planet. Somebody out there hate you. And do nothing.
Which is true.
Yeah, man.
That's why
yeah. So so that was that. That was that's been a very heavy topic on social media these past few days. So I figured we'd address it, and the discussion went just about as I expected it to go.
Oh, you expected us to say otherwise? Okay.
No, I mean that's what I expected. No, but hey, I think we can all agree that there's a time and place for how one behaves. So I don't excuse what they did, but I understand it because I've been at that age and doing whatever in whichever place. But one person has the responsibility for being the professional in the situation, and he handled it poorly, and I believe he understands that. All right, so with that. this is the end of the topics we have to discuss. So, Dr. J, the way we normally wrap up this thing is then we say like a words of wisdom, like a 1 minute or just say something and maybe you can talk about your foundation.
Right.
You can talk about anything you want. You can say Our Father prayer. You can say whatever you want. Just some words of wisdom as we. All right. So, Dr. J, from you lead. What say you? What do you have to leave the people with?
Let's see. What do I have to leave the people with? Attitude is everything. So be mindful of your attitude and be a little kinder to the next person because you never know what the other person is going through. I think that's kind of would be good for the owner of this brunch and twerk thing. It is for us too, because sometimes we don't know what another person is going through. So give them the benefit of the doubt for a while, not forever, but.
And as Matterhorn says, attitude, girl. All right.
My foundation, the Bourne Morgan Foundation.
Yes, let's talk about that.
I established it in 2012, and it was basically to help needy students in my community and other communities in Jamaica. What's
your community?
In Devon, Manchester.
Okay.
And we are hoping to branch out to at least start with the places I went to school. I went to Garvey Maceo Comprehensive High School. So I want to do something there next. And then I want to go to Portland to the college I went to, now CASE, but I did not go to CASE. We are the last batch for COA. So to do something there. And hopefully I can now that I'm finished with school, I can, put a little bit more energy into what I want to do with that and to see it mature and grow.
So what kind of things do you do?
Here, we do a back to school event. We did not do one this year because of the corona. Where the schools opened late in Jamaica this year. So we're kind of waiting to see what will happen first before we decide how we're going to move forward in terms of helping the Devon Primary School. And so basically we're going to look at what the resources are that the school needs in terms of when the students start going back into the classroom, or even how could we maybe help the teachers there to get more of the information out, because now they have to basically bus the information to the students who do not have internet. So how can we make that a little bit easier for our teachers in that regard? And I also think I want to branch out because my degree is in educational leadership, and I have asked my cohort if they would go with me to Jamaica to do some training, professional development with our teachers, which is still something that's on the back burner. And I still want us to do something like that, just to give our Jamaican teachers in the rural areas some different approach to how they deal with certain students and how they deal with certain situations in that regard. So that's basically my dream.
Right.
And for here, I want to help with Caribbean students to come to America for school, and so look at another arm where we could maybe do an internship type of thing. I have 2 organizations already that would be willing to work with us in terms of getting students from Jamaica here and give them summer jobs if they're doing agriculture. But I want to look at not just agriculture, but other areas that people want to come to school here, but still I have to do some research in that area before we can branch out in it.
That is wonderful. I have some follow-up words to say on that, but I'll wait till I get to my part. Hey boy, Texas Doc. Texas Doc, $1,500 for your final words. No words of wisdom tonight?
Words of wisdom, but we're not.
Not for 1,500.
No.
Okay.
No,
all right.
No. All right. So, young mothers, young fathers, and I guess active parents, right? Myself included. We must remember that our greatest contribution may not be something we do, right? But someone who we raise. So the matter of the story is, you know, we have to learn to invest in our children because we just never know how those kids may develop and who these children may actually become. Right? So invest in the children. Okay. Word of wisdom. We see how Obama has, you know, blossomed. Thank God his mom decided to keep him as a white woman who struggled with a mixed kid. And also here comes Miss Harris again. You know, despite what the story is with the dad, you know, she's definitely done an awesome job. And the mother also has done an awesome job with this lady. So yeah, we just have to just invest in our children and you just never know.
Amen. I believe the children are the future. Teach them well.
Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Shut them on inside. Give them a sense of pride. Sexual chocolate. Special 30th special. What is it?
See it there? Crowd of people, subscribers, viewers, give Camilla some time. She now get the juggling until the 20th of January. We have the whole of February, Black History Month. Camilla, if you're listening, we want a jerk chicken pan right on the front lawn. Right? I want you to fly a Jamaican flag right beside the US flag. Cause it's 2 hours night. Right?
That's what we're talking about, right?
If you put in the end there too.
Yeah, you know. But keep safe. Keep safe, people. You know. I mean, we have to consider that we want everybody to survive. So we have to do what we have to do. Keep wearing your mask, keep social distance, and on whole if I want to go take a vaccine, me go and watch.
1,500. Texas.
Yo. So I was at my people's house over the weekend and just reasoning, you know, how we normally do. And a quote came over the TV and it kind of hit me hard. And they were talking about basically just getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And I've heard that before, but when I heard it this weekend, it just resonated with me. And I started thinking about this year, 2020. Okay?
Yep.
For those people out there that, you know, have a job or women have your 9 to 5 and are thinking about starting that business, that's the type of things that come to mind when you know somebody says get comfortable being uncomfortable, because what you're doing is actually stepping out your comfort zone. And I think once we learn to do that, we'll all be better for it. And just think about this as well. 2020 in March is when we heard about this thing. If you're here right now and you're watching this show, you're waking up every morning, you can see your family, you're definitely blessed. Thank the good Lord above and just get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, man, those are some great parting words. And yeah, nothing could have brought that across more clearly than 2020. You know, we're knowing what's happening from day to day with, you know, almost 300,000 people dead from this thing just here in the US, over almost 1.5 million worldwide. And yeah, it has been a case of, you know, uncomfortable. And, you know, it is in such environments that some of the most successful businesses in the world have been started in similar environments. You know, because when we're in our comfort zone, we kind of do what we do. We go out, clock in and do our normal thing. But when you have to say, you know what, this could all end tomorrow. Let me do something different. Let me try something different. What do I have to lose? So yeah, those are some powerful words. Dr. J, you mentioned a few things which I think are important, and would I'd like to connect with you on that at some point. I have, you know, so my wife has a doctorate in educational leadership as well, and there are lots of things that I want to do with my Clarksonville, you know, all-age school, you know, back in, you know, in St. Anne. And so there are some initiatives that we've done with the school in the past, like bringing laptops and that sort of thing. I'm in regular communication with the principal there. And my father's a principal at school. So it really means, you know, and my mother's a teacher there. really means a lot to me. So I'm talking to him about like his specific needs during this time. And it's a very small rural community. And he said, they're trying to do online school, but the internet thing, they don't really have the facilities. And so he's talking with a company who has outfitted another local school with internet within the school itself. And so we'll have an initiative around that. So I think that probably applies, to, your school as well, and to many other rural schools. So once I get some more information around that, I want to, spearhead an initiative around that. I'm with a local organization here that, where our charter is to be of service to Caribbean people here and abroad. Trinidad, Jamaica, wherever. So, thank you for mentioning that. And we just have to remember that, as Tex just said, it's here we are, December, and we've made it this far. We made it this far. It is for a purpose, and we're blessed to be here. So consider the reasons why God has allowed you to see this moment, and what is He asking of you to do within this moment. So that's my final thoughts on that. So with that said, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Just Reasoning, justreasoning.com, Just Reasoning group on Facebook. Thank you for the insightful conversation tonight about all sorts of, from the serious to the effort. So thank you everyone for joining. Until next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Just Reasoning. Bless upon yourself, people. One love.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.